There you all are. Well, welcome in once again on a Sunday afternoon. We certainly appreciated Scott and Nadine coming on the program earlier. Sorry near the end that it got a little bit discombobulated. We lost the internet connection, and at the same time, we had Watchtower operatives coming in. So we didn't hear the latter part of Scott's program. It was only about a minute. So thank you, though, for understanding. And, one thing I always want to warn people when they come on the six screens, we do have these operatives of the Watchtower that do come in. They try to disrupt the program, but they use the most foul language you could ever think of. But you stop and think, why would an organization do this? A so-called Christian organization that would have people come on and use foul language like that. But I guess it doesn't bother them. I mean, they cover up child molestation. They're involved in sex trafficking, money laundering. So a few foul words isn't going to bother anybody at Watchtower. But I think it's disgraceful. And as long as they can continue to do it, I'm going to continue to do it. And we're going to up the ante in all of this. We're going to get more and more people to expose you bums. And for you guys doing that, I think it's pretty filthy rotten to use language like that. A Christian organization. Shame on you.
We're trying to help.
Yeah, we're trying to help people. We're trying to help people understand how it is to deal with being molested when you're children, and yet you have people like that. And friends, I'm not just pulling your strings here and making this up. These are genuine operatives of the Watchtower Society that have been commissioned to disrupt this program. But we're going to continue on. We haven't given up in 20 years. We're going to keep going forward. But anyways, my name's Rick Farron, and this is Sunday, six screens. And we do have a number of programs coming up today. We've got Anmarie up next with her program. Ex-Jehovah's Witnesses share their story of being in the Watchtower. We also have JW World News. That's coming up in about an hour. And then we go to the Christian Court. Oh, my goodness. In the world of Christianity, people have peculiar questions. And, we're going to try to answer them on the court. We have two scholars, J.S. and Scott Walton, they'll be on with us today. And then, of course, if you have a Bible question after leaving the Watchtower, by all means, you can tune in to J.S. He comes on today at 5 o'clock. And you can ask any Bible question you want, and he will answer it. But in the meantime, Anmarie, are you out there?
I am out here and with you, my brother Rick.
All right, Anmarie. So anyways, I don't believe we have anyone that wants to. If they do, if there's anyone on the telephone line right now that would like to speak up, oh, that would be wonderful and tell your story. But other than that, Anmarie, how are you doing?
I'm doing okay. How are you guys?
Well, we're hanging in there. We're hanging in there. It's you a little tired, are you?
It was an experience. My feet are still swollen. I got sick. It's okay. You know what? Do you know what I am? Full of gratefulness. Absolutely full of gratefulness to you and Susan, to everyone, to our Lord. Thank you so much for putting up with me.
Well, Anmarie, yeah, I know. In fact, I'm sure when a lot of people come together like that, germs are passed around and what have you. Even Susan started getting some type of a bug here in the last couple of days. But so also you get kind of worn out. You get kind of worn out, and boy, I'll tell you, it's a trek. It was a trek, and spending time in the airport like you did, that had to be a rough deal going on. But you made it back home, and that's good.
It was actually quite an experience. I got to spend three different nights in three different airports, and being there as much as I was, I cannot tell you, my precious brother, how many truly kind, supportive, patient people there are in this world. This Watchtower organization tried to paint all of these people who were not in the Watchtower wicked and deserving of death. But yet when I was there having a really hard time, I even got pulled out of a boarding line on my 5th try to board a flight that would get me to Boston on time. I got ripped out of the line by a head TSA officer telling me that I had committed a federal offense and I wasn't being allowed to board. And they hauled me off into an obscure room and were grilling me and drilling me with 2 other TSA agents. I was scared out of my mind. And that's why I said in my testimony that God gave me wine, because everybody saw it, and not in the airport, in the terminal. But the thing is, everybody was so kind and so supportive. Everywhere I went, the people who tried to get me on a flight to get to Boston on time, everybody. I even was so starving, I went to the Dunkin' Donuts because I was just so hungry, and I am diabetic, and sometimes my blood sugar just shoot down. And I went up to him, and it was like maybe 2 a.m, and I just begged him. I said, please, is there any pastry or something that you're going to throw away that you could spare? And he looked at me really cold and said, no. And I just said, okay, thank you. And I walked away a little bit and kind of slid down a pole to the floor and thinking, okay, God, help me get through this. And the sweetest young couple came right up to me, bent over me, and how can we help you? What can we do for you? And everybody was like that, Rick. And the next day I realized maybe my Social Security had hit the bank. So I went back to Dunkin' Donuts to get coffee, maybe, and to see if my card worked. And do you know that owner that had been so mean to me the night before, about 2:30 in the morning, he had already had a bag waiting for me full of pastries. Can you imagine that? My brother, there are so many kind, good people in this world. And if I hadn't had to stay and sleep in 3 different airports for 3 different nights, I'm telling you, this experience just made me so much more grateful. And for you, of course, my brother, and for Susan, thank you.
Well, yeah, no, my goodness, you went through an ordeal. But on that, why was the TSA interrogating you? What was behind that?
Well, to understand, I had no trouble flying out of San Jose to Chicago, where I was supposed to catch my connecting flight straight to Boston, but the flight had been canceled. So I was kind of freaking out. And then it was like this big, huge thing to try to get another flight. They worked very hard to get me on a flight, but there were 17 other people ahead of me trying to get on the same flight. So of course I missed that one. And by the time it was getting to be too late, finally somebody, I don't know who those people are who try to finagle a flight for you. So kind. They found a flight for me that would still get there in time in Boston. And they gave me a ticket, but I didn't know when it was supposed to land, and I had no way to call you. So I went to the kiosk, which was by the boarding gate, which was the last boarding gate before the wall that they told me to get on and get against. And I saw nobody at the kiosk to ask when my flight would land in Boston. So I just went behind the kiosk and looked at the screen, and I used my finger. It didn't touch anything, but my eyesight is not that great. And I was trying to follow along the whole line to see when the flight would land, but I couldn't focus on it. So I gave up and thought, I'll just wait for my flight to be called. And that's why when I was in line to board, these big TSA guys, they scared me so bad. I think he was a general or a sergeant in the Marines before he was a TSA guy, because he was terrifying. He pulls me out of the line and tells me, you're not boarding this flight, and told me to get against the wall. And some lady that worked there, she said, she got behind me and sat down on the floor with me because I was shaking. And she said, you know, you committed a federal offense, don't you? And I said, what did I do? And so when they let everybody board, then they pulled me up and walked me to this room that it was away from everybody with 2 other TSA officers. I swear to God, Rick, I've never been so scared in my life. They kept telling me, grading me, drilling me, grilling me, asking me all these questions, and just not believing anything I said. They wouldn't look at any of my documents. I thought they were going to haul me away. So that's why they basically said that I committed a federal offense by going behind the kiosk, and they said it was reported I was seen touching the screen, and I never touched the screen. But there's no sign. There's no sign that says do not approach or you can't come here. It was just sitting there. Anyway, that's it.
Okay, no, okay. So, boy, I didn't realize that. My goodness, Anmarie. So, in other words, there was nothing there. You went behind trying to find out the flight, and they nabbed you for that. Well, I'll tell you, it's just too much. It's just too much. And, I went down. It would have been Saturday morning. I was trying to find you. I made 2 attempts trying to find you at the airport. And, I didn't want to leave you hanging there. I was talking to your husband. I said, Jeff, I'll go down. So I went down early Saturday morning before the convention to the Southwest Airline Terminal. And Larry, the fellow there that sounds like Ray, sounds like Fred Franz, he was at the convention. I says, Larry, if you don't mind, drive me down to the airport, park outside, because if not, I'd have to walk like 1.5 miles just to get to the Southwest Terminal. So I had him parked there. And of course, the state police keep moving, and the cars are going all over the place. But Sunday was a little better than normal. So, anyways, I had him park. I said, "Stay right here." So I walked into the Southwest Airline Terminal, and I have to tell you, I'm saying, looking for you. I looked in the bag. I looked all over the baggage area. I walked up and down stairs, got on the escalator, walked. So I figured, well, geez, what I'll do is I'll just wait in line. There was a number of people in line ready to board flights, and there was a couple. Well, I was about 3 or 4 people in front of me. So, anyways, I'm waiting, but there was a couple up there, and they were having a hard time too. And the way that they even talk to the people, someone's got to make this a little more friendly. Geez, they're talking to an older husband and wife. They're up there, and well, you're not getting in this flight. We are booked solid, and it's even fortunate your wife is even going to be able to fly with you. This is how they're talking to people. I'm saying, geez, be careful.
Oh my goodness.
Be nice to people. She's saying, well, you're not going to be able to get on this flight. Yeah, you're probably going to have to stay over in Boston. So you weren't the only one, and it was just terrible. But I mean, I'm not blaming Southwest, but I'm saying everybody was so disgruntled and really stressed out. And so, I got up, I waited a good part of a half hour, and I said, I'm looking for a woman. And, she lost her phone. She was supposed to be coming into Boston. I got word that she's coming in. She should have landed. And they had no idea of it. I said, well, how about in the bag? And, where the planes land in the gate area. I said, can I go back there and check? Maybe I thought you were in a chair back there. No way. Nobody goes back there. That nobody would be back there. Nobody can go back there. I said, okay, all right. So I still looked around a while. I went out and says, Larry, I don't know where she is. And then I went back to the convention, and it was just starting by then. So I went back, got things rolling. And at the same time, Jeff called me and said that, you did arrive in Boston. I didn't know you were there, because I said, well, she wasn't there when I was there, but no, she's there. And I says, well, is there any way we can communicate with her to be outside where the buses and, the different shuttles come and pick people up? And so evidently the airport people said if we could get the license plate number to Uber. I'm saying, how the heck do you get a license plate number to Uber? But the man I had working with me, Doug, he knew how to do that. He takes Uber a lot. So he said, I'll get it. So he helped me. So we got the license plate number to Uber. Then we called the Southwest people, and they said, fine, we can put her out there, and then she'll be able to be picked up. And sure enough, Uber is a very, it's not a taxi company. It's a high-tech company. So I was so thrilled when we gave the airlines the Uber license number that we could see it. I could see it on the screen of like a little car. It's like a little cartoon car. It's driving down the road. That's showing that they were coming to pick you up. And they're only, after we placed that Uber call, it was only 1 minute. 1 minute, and I saw it pop up on the screen. I saw the little car coming to pick Anmarie up. So then you made it to the convention. I was expecting you to look like a bag woman. But geez, you came in, you had your makeup on, Jeez.
A drunk bag woman. Well, I'll tell you, I arrived in Boston from Baltimore. I was stuck in Baltimore all day and all night. And I finally saw
The conference has been unlocked.
to Boston, but it was like 10:30 at night on Friday. And that was when I think I went to the guy and begged him for something to eat. But anyway, I was told by somebody, my mind is so discombobulated. Somebody told me to wait. Oh, I think you did. I don't know who I called, but I got some official to let me use the phone, I think, to call you. And I think it was you that said, well, nobody's going to come get you tonight. It'll be about 7 to 9 o'clock in the morning. And I'm like, okay, another night in an airport, but thank you. And I think somebody or you told me to wait by the main entrance, which I did. But right around 6 in the morning, I'm thinking, wait a minute, I need to go freshen up, and look like a bad lady. So I may have been in the bathroom, but I didn't take that long. I went back to the main entrance and I mentioned to somebody that my hair was so, I look homeless. And I told them, I said, well, people don't pick to this other area, go through the doors, and I'm waiting, and I have no way to tell you where I am, but I'm waiting for freaking ever. And I had to keep going to the bathroom. And then I saw this official in a room with 2 other guys, and I thought, I always just go for it, you know me. And I knock on the door. Finally, one of them gets up and asks me what I want, and I tell him the situation. And he said his number. I think I gave him your number, and I said, please, I don't know what to do. Nobody knows where to find me. So it was him. He was so great. Because on the 3rd, you said nobody could find me. I came back to his office, and I'm like almost just ready to just break down. And I'm like, okay, don't leave. Don't go back to that pickup. But I did. He comes running out, and he goes, you got an Uber. You got to go now. Grab your stuff. I'm like, what? And so I guess he had called you or you. Yeah, it was something like that. He was pulling. Uber's waiting. What? And the guy was really nice. Really nice, Rick. So nice.
Well, no,
Did I lose you?
Oh no, I'm still here. You can hear me now, can you? Yep.
Oh yeah, just sometimes, me and my history of phone dropping calls. But this was from not Iran, but some Middle East area. And he was telling me about his children, and he was very professional, but friendly. Because I've heard stories about Uber situations, and he was really, really nice. And when he finally pulled up to the area where you pull up in front of the Hilton, I was like, oh my God. Am I really, really here? And I see you with your big smile come walking toward the car, that big Rick Perrin grin smile. And I'm so happy, and I'm getting out, and he's getting out of the driver's side, and you thanked him, and he turns around to go get my stuff. And that's another thing, lost my luggage too, because it went flying without me. And then you came and greeted me, and then you were so cute. You go, okay, I got to call Jeff now. I really appreciated that. And when you said she's here, we got her. I'm like, oh, that's so sweet, because I was feeling so scared and so alone and not knowing what was going to happen to me. It was scary. Anyway, thank you, Rick.
Well, thank you, Anmarie. No, well, Jeff was concerned about you, and there was not too much we could do. You had to put yourself in his position, and mine too. We got a woman, no phone, stuck at the airport. How do we handle this? But it all worked out well. So you get to come to the convention. That was good, Anmarie. Yep.
I just feel bad because by the time I wasn't prepared, I didn't have time to really say what I wanted to say, and I was quite literally what you call punch drunk. I might as well have been completely drunk. But, all I could think about is how important it is to focus, nuts and bolts. Focus on what we have, not what they did to us or what boo story we have. And I don't mean it, I'm not insensitive, Rick. I'm really, truly not. But I notice that if you concentrate on what's so important, like Jesus saying, I give you my peace I leave with you. And the fact that we have the truth, the fact that we know the truth, the fact that we have our freedom, such a precious, precious thing, then around that and supporting that, gratefulness, reasons to be grateful and to smile. And I think that keeps us going through the storm, no matter what the enemy throws at us. To me, that is so incredibly and intrinsically important.
Well, absolutely, Anmarie. And you weren't the only one that had trouble getting there. Our good friend, Stefan. So he gets on a plane from Chicago, and so he's getting all excited. He wants to come up to the convention. So this is Thursday night. So no problem. I'm going to go up to Boston. A couple-hour flight. I'm there. So, anyways, it was raining so hard. In fact, it rained Wednesday, I believe Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and it just intensified. It was like really wicked rain. I couldn't believe it was like a thunderstorm all day long. So they canceled a bunch of flights. So Stefan's on his way. He's coming from Chicago, and all of a sudden, the flight says, no, we can't continue on. We got to land in Baltimore. So he landed in Baltimore, and they said, no, we can't get into Boston. There's too much rain up there, too turbulent. We can't go. So he didn't know what to do. He didn't want to miss the convention. So he rented a car. Now, I'm going to tell you, Baltimore's close to 500 miles away from Boston. So he rented a car, drove all night long, and I seen him come in. It was funny, just like you, but I seen him come in, and, it would have been Saturday, Friday morning, and he was so tired, but he says, Rick, I made it. So he came all the way up, and then also your good friend Wendy, she also, her flight got canceled. Says she was on her way, and her flight got canceled, and she couldn't. She texted me and says,
she said she walked all the way to the airport with her luggage and her service dog 3 times. And she was so distraught. But thank you for mentioning Wendy, because she was looking forward to seeing you and doing whatever. She's full of energy, and she wanted to really be of help to you so badly, Rick. And thank you for mentioning our dear Wendy.
Yeah, well, I got thinking about her, but that wasn't the only ones. It was others too that couldn't come because of the weather. Now, I'm not going to tell you there was 100 people. But I would be willing to say there was, 15, 20 that couldn't come. And our hearts go out. If you're listening into the broadcast today, I'm sorry you guys couldn't make it. It's very disappointing to you, I know. When you really, we all live on hope, don't we, Anmarie? Huh? When you stop and think about it, hope is such a marvelous thing. And people hoping for a whole year that I'm going to get there. I'm going to be there at that Still Alive convention. And then all of a sudden, the last minute, you can't come. So we feel bad for the people that couldn't come too. It really was a shame. But at least we had it online. And boy, we're getting really good reviews. Everyone seemed to like it. We didn't get too much negative reviews. So I think it was good overall. And I have to tell you, I'm glad it's over. I'm really glad it's over. I was laser focused, Anmarie. I mean, my mind was just, I thank my wife for being patient. At times I was ready to jump through the wall here, because I'll tell you what really, well, no, I wasn't, going to losing it at all, but I couldn't focus on anything else, because how embarrassing would it be? Put yourself in my position. How embarrassing would it be for a year and a half? You say, okay, everyone, come to the Still Alive convention and the hotel, and it's going to be wonderful, and the movie, and they're going to film that, and you're building this thing all up, and you're making it sound really exciting. And then all of a sudden, 25 people show up. Oh, my goodness. I started I never experienced panic attacks, but I was a little anxious over that, because I really didn't know for sure. But near the last few days of the convention, before the convention, like say Wednesday and Thursday, all of a sudden I start getting all of these emails. Oh, Rick, I couldn't make it. I had to go to a funeral. Oh, Rick, I couldn't make it. I found out it was too much money. Oh, Rick, I forgot these were the dates. I thought it was some other date. And I got a whole bunch of emails coming to me like that. And all of a sudden my jaw is dropping, because I'm trying to get as many people there as I can. That's what my job was. I was advertising, putting signs up on telephone poles, making a big sign for the side of the truck. I took ads out on Facebook. I'm saying we got to get people there. So I was just still up in the air. And then when I got there Friday, and I says, "Wow, the people are coming in," and boy, that made me feel so good. It took a lot of tension off, really. And I'll tell you what was really fascinating to me, unlike when you went to the Jehovah's Witness conventions, what was happening in the corridors. We had outside the ballroom or the arena, whatever you want to call that, where we had the convention, we had a bunch of tables set up, and we had 12 tables. And authors of books were there, and the lawyers coming up. They were talking about the abuse, and the Watchtower were there. And there was 12 tables, and those tables were packed. You could hardly even get through that little area. And during the talks, there was many people out in the corridor as there was inside the auditorium. And this really was something that got my attention. And I said, that's working. These people were connecting. They were sharing emails. They were taking selfies. They were taking pictures. They were giving their phone numbers. They were hugging each other. And I really saw that to be very beneficial. That's what the convention was all about. And I even told Susan before we even got there, Susan, if we see that, that's meaningful. And we saw it. And I think it was just totally wonderful that people could come. And these people called me up afterwards. We had 40 speakers there, and they've been in touch with me and writing me, and they had so much fun. And not one of them said, "Rick, I can't do it." They all came forth, Anmarie. Isn't that wonderful? Yeah.
Aw.
So that was good.
Rick, it was wonderful.
So it's memories.
You did a
Yeah.
You were a trooper, Rick, and I can only try to imagine how very stressful it was for you. And I had a feeling before, I think 3 or 4 weeks before the convention, I just had this feeling that there would be an onslaught of people who wanted to come. And then all of a sudden, in reality, it was almost like the enemy was like, I'm going to mess these people up. Because I went through 3 airports and spent plenty of time, and everybody was having trouble with flights. There were so many stories, so many people talked to me and told me what they were missing, what they couldn't get to. One beautiful young couple were on their way to meet their newest grandbaby, a little boy named Axel, and he was so cute. And they showed me his picture, a delightful couple. Talked to me, Bob, and his wife. And I'm thinking all of these people and me, like you said, I wasn't the only one. So many people had things come up, like our dear Apostobabe and Wendy girl. And so many people who wanted to be there. Can you imagine if everybody who had planned to be there and didn't have some unforeseen circumstance come up, that place would have been overflowing.
Yeah, I believe that we would have had some more there. But we will go down in history. We will go down as the largest ex-Jehovah's Witness gathering in the history of the Watchtower organization. So that's meaningful. I mean, not in a sense that, I'm patting myself on the back, but in the sense that it shows me that once you have the first one, if there ever was a second one, everyone's writing me and saying, "Rick, if there was another one of these conventions, I'm definitely going," and they're saying the numbers would double. So just based on a number of people wrote me and told me that. So just based on that alone, if there ever was another one of these, there'd be 700 people. And the more that you would have it, it would really grow, I know. And what a lot of people shared with me when they were leaving, they said, "Rick, I am with my real brothers and sisters." And not in a Watchtower way. Yeah, no, so many people told me that. "Rick, I am with my real brothers and sisters." And, that doesn't mean they have to all be Christian. I'm not even expressing that. But I mean in the sense that we were all united together, and people felt this camaraderie, this togetherness that really was so meaningful to people, because there was a lot of people there that came that were very hurt, Anmarie, very, very hurt. And I'll tell you what, I witnessed people crying. I don't know if you noticed it, but there was a number of, yeah, oh yeah, there was a number of people crying and the tears in their eyes, and they were having such a hard time even coming to grips with the fact that there was so many other people that experienced the same things. Now, there's an old saying that misery loves company, but I'm not going to use that saying. It's not that misery loves company. It's that to know other people experience the same thing, it can bring solace. It can bring peace to a person, saying, I'm not the only one. And that's how a lot of people were expressing themselves. Rick, I can't believe this person experienced the same difficulties I experienced when I was in the Watchtower. So overall, that was an achievement, Anmarie.
What I noticed too also, Anmarie.
Stand up.
Oh,
Come over here.
stand-
Come over
What's
here.
that?
oh, Anmarie, what I also noticed was people making phone friends, taking down phone numbers. That was so exciting to
Yeah.
me because I know how much it helped me. And I was just hoping that, they would keep that up and keep those phone calls coming because it's so necessary when you're leaving this horrible organization or you're just having a tough time dealing with your PTSD or your different symptoms from leaving the Watchtower, because it's not easy. I think one of the therapists or I can't remember who it was, but they said that leaving the Watchtower is the hardest thing you'll ever do. And it's true.
Oh, yeah. Yes,
You remember
you're
that?
right.
Yeah. She said, leaving the Watchtower is the hardest thing you'll ever do. And I went back to thinking, and I said, you know what it is? It really is, especially at first. So I'm glad people make the effort.
Oh my God, thank you so much for saying that. Susan, you're so right. I am standing on my porch where I am living in my new place that the Lord gave me, and I'm looking down at the sidewalk where my children and I walked 3 times a week all the way to the Kingdom Hall, passing by this place where I now live over 40 years ago. And I'm thinking, you're right. Leaving the Watchtower is the hardest thing because no matter how miserable personally I was, I know so many others in the Watchtower are down deep, miserable, but you can't feel like you can leave because it's like you're trapped. It's like one of those horrible glue traps that a rat steps in. It smells so sweet and it looks so good, and you get into it, and no matter how hard you try to extricate yourself, there's no hope. There's no ways. Where are you going to go? You'll lose everyone and everything, your entire support system, your children, your family, your wife, your husband. You lose everything. And it's not just that. It's the whole entire belief system that was inculcated into every fiber and cell of your being as being the truth, God's only organization, the only true religion. And everybody who's not in favor with Jehovah's organization is going to be destroyed by Jehovah. It's like every which way they have you feeling so trapped. And even if you get forced out, even if you realize I will die if I stay mentally, emotionally, or whatever, even if you make it out, however you make it out, it's like you've been thrown off the only cruise ship you've lived in, been born on and raised on, and now they threw you over into the ocean. And you have to figure out how to swim, knowing that nobody cares about you anymore on this cruise ship, that you grew up with all these people and they don't care if you die, they don't care if you drown, if they see you suffering and struggling to swim, well, you did it to yourself. It's like they hurt you in every possible way. So everybody that is able to make it, even though they're damaged, they did it. They did it. And it's not that we're struggling that shows that we're weak. It's the fact that we made it to this point that we're not, we're living, right?
That's right. Someone made a good point. They said, did you study the book, The Truth That Leads to Eternal Strife? Which is a truth book. And Joe Garino made a good point. He said, they call it the truth. And they said the truth is really an ideology and not the truth. It's the farthest thing from the truth. So I really appreciated how he brought that out.
Oh, yeah. Truth, freedom, and peace to me are the three main things. If it's okay, I don't know if anybody wants to comment, but there are some things I wrote down that I really, really hope that will mean something to someone.
Yeah, we got some people want to comment,
Okay,
and we're
go
going to hear that. Go ahead, 7714. You're on with us, 714. Go ahead.
Hi, Rick. Hi, Anmarie. It's Nadine. And hi, Susan.
Hi, Nathan.
Hi. And before I go, somehow I'd like to get Susan's phone number. I wanted to get your phone number at the convention, but there was so much going on. But if I could get your phone number, that would be great.
I'll email it off to you, Nadine. Yeah, I'll give you a number. Yep.
Okay, perfect. Perfect. I'd love to talk to Susan. Okay, so I have to tell you, when I found out that Anmarie was at the airport and she couldn't make it in, I was really concerned. And I never met Anmarie. And so when I saw this woman come in on Saturday, she had dark hair, but she was shorter than I thought she would be. And so when I saw her come in and then she walked over to get water, I went right up and I said, "Are you Anmarie?" And she said, "Yes." And I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so glad you made it." I was really concerned that she had spent time, like 2 nights in the airport. And when she got there, I was like, okay, so that's Anmarie, because there's some people I really wanted to meet, and Anmarie was one of them. And then I remember after, when it was lunchtime, I don't know, I just connected with Anmarie, and then we went outside and we chatted for a long time. And I'm like, I love Anmarie. This is great. And I was so glad when you got there, and I thought that was you. And so I just wanted to make sure. But, and then with all the stuff you went through at the airport and all of that, and you finally got home. And so I'm just glad everything worked out for you. You know, and you're feeling well now.
Thank you so much, Nadine. It was such a pleasure to meet you and Stefan and everyone, Fran and Joe and everybody. It was great.
It was, and I was really looking forward to meeting Rick and Susan and you and Stefan, and it was really a great experience. And I think Susan just was saying that somebody told her that the hardest thing you'll ever do is getting out of, the watchtower. And It's really true. It is so true. Because of my mother, she was not a born-in. She was raised Catholic, but I was a born-in. And if I didn't go to all of the meetings, she would try to make me feel so bad and so guilty and sort of like shun me, even though I was going to the meeting. But if I didn't go to a meeting or so, she would hold it against me. And finally, when I just wasn't going, she turned on me. That's a really long story, but it's really difficult to have your parents, your mother shun you. And my father had already passed away. But it's difficult, really, really, really difficult. And then your friends, I lost like my friend that I had since 2nd grade. And she doesn't even live near me, and I never even said anything about not going to the meetings, but I don't know what happened, but she, decided she wasn't going to talk to me. I saw her at a memorial service, and she was just so not nice to me. And it was a memorial service for a longtime Jehovah's Witness that we all knew. And I thought, well, what the heck, I'll go to it. And and she was there, and it was not good, but her husband was very nice to me, but, and she was my friend since 2nd grade, and we went through all kinds of things together. And so it is really difficult. It is probably really the most difficult thing to go through, I have to say. Yeah, but I'm just glad you're back and everything's good. And yeah. So it was a wild trip, you know, the whole convention. It was great. It was like a whirlwind. It was a whirlwind. And I met so many people and got phone numbers and connections. And so anyways, that's about it.
It was a wonderful experience, Nadine. Thank you so much for coming on and commenting. Is there anyone else that would like to share or have a comment?
Yeah, hello, Anmarie.
Hello, Ken. How are you?
Oh, not too bad. Yeah, Ken here. I think I forgot to mention my name the last call here. Yeah, my heart goes out to you for those bad experiences that you had, but I'm happy to hear that the convention went well. And some food for thought here. The country, around the country right here, there's more and more violence going on. That I mean, it's just disturbing to somebody like you and I. There's more and more violence going on. There's more and more police brutality going on. This country is getting to be closer and closer to a dictatorship. It's the constitutionality has just fallen. The government seems to have put themselves above the Constitution, above the law, above the laws of God, everything. They've strayed, you know, away and everything like that. Every day that you turn on the television here, or the internet here, there's a shooting going on.
Okay, let's not get Ken.
So,
please.
yeah.
Let's not get too negative. I understand everything you're saying is true, but right now we're kind of talking and commenting about the most wonderful thing that has ever happened in the XJW world, in our Six Greens family, that our brother Rick and Susan and Scott and his wife Nadine and so many people work so hard for. And I'm sorry, but I'd really like to focus positive instead on negativity that has nothing to do with what happened at the convention or the beautiful people. I know what you're saying.
I'm just relating what happened to you there. I didn't mean to be negative, and I apologize for it. But yeah, I'm happy that the convention went well.
Thank you.
I'm happy the convention went well, and I'm happy that it didn't get any worse than it was with the negative experiences. So I thank you for taking my call, and I'm sorry for the misunderstanding, but now you have a good day, and God bless you all.
I was hoping you were going to be there. I was looking for you. I didn't know if you were going to be able to make it, my brother.
Okay, I'll just say I'm sorry. I wouldn't be able to make it right now because I'm walking with a cane. My health is bad. I'm not moving around as good as I used to. I got a home care worker right now. We're starting to get the place straightened up. And so forth. It's difficult for me to even wash up and everything like that. So I just washed up this morning because a little bit because we had a heat wave here and my clothes just got sweaty like you wouldn't believe.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Well, do you get to watch the? I think Rick said the whole convention was on YouTube or somewhere. I haven't seen it.
Yeah, I didn't have a chance to get into it and look for it because of my YouTube and everything like that. But I'm happy that it went well, and I'm happy it wasn't any worse. And my heart goes out to everybody that had hardships, and I hope that I just wish the ex-witnesses success, and I hope that we can put this negativity in this and behind us and everything like that took place.
Absolutely. Let's pause it. And you know, my other can, but you can, no matter how hard life gets, we can look back and see how Lord gets us through it. We have strength given to us. We have support. And we know that even though there's a rotten devil who said that to be out of the system of things, and we know we have forces that Paul said that we have a wrestling against the unseen spirits that are really trying to trip us up. You know what? We know, like Jesus said, take heart, I have conquered the world. We know that if we stay in his love and his peace and in positivity and in faith. You know what, my brother Ken, I know things are hard for you, honey. I'm so sorry. That I know it's hard, especially when you're in that heat. But you know what?
we're gonna get it, my brother. We're gonna get through it.
Yeah, just one more thing for Six Screens. Never lose sight of the First Amendment. We have freedom of religion and freedom of conscience. And the religion we choose is none of the Watchtower Society's business. And we want to remember, too, the Watchtower Society is not our God. And the Kingdom Hall is not our church. We're not worship their God, however. We're gonna do freedom of religion, which God that we worship is in our society. Don't lose sight of the First Amendment. So you have a good day right now, and thanks for taking my call, and God bless and be with you.
Hey,
I interrupt you, but thank you, Ken, for what you shared with us here.
Is this Dallas?
Yep.
That's me. I wanted to thank Ken and what he shared for being encouragement. And I want to thank y'all for that convention that you had. I was listening to it and watching it.
Aww.
And I saw you on the stage, and you gave a great presentation. I had to compliment you on that.
Oh, bless your heart, Dallas. I got to meet so many wonderful members of our Six Screens family. Thank you.
And sorry about what happened with you, but you had been blessed, and we know that cult, WATCHTOWER cult, that it is called, I call it the craft. It is a craft.
Thank you, my brother, Dallas.
And,
Yes,
and like,
dear.
that's what I call it, because it's the craft like masonry.
Yeah, there's a lot of evil mixed in.
And and we know it's run by Satan, the devil, as Dick Borgie says. But the positive is I enjoyed that convention and y'all's encouragement. I saw how Rick, Susan, Joe and Fran and so many others, Scott and Nadine, how they were having a good time on Saturday night.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, if anybody else want to comment, I'm hoping I have time to kind of read what I wanted to read. Does anybody else want to comment? I could have a minute or two. Anybody want to comment? *6, the show is for you. Hello.
Hi, this is Grace. Anmarie, I wanted to say you look so young and fresh on stage. And I really appreciate you had a nice top and a necklace on. And you were like a vitamin injection for everybody on Six Screens. It was just amazing. I felt you stirred up the energy for also even on internet. We got the feeling. I was so impressed.
Okay.
You have this presence on stage. It's like you're made for the stage. Yes.
I'm an idiot.
You're amazing. Yes. And I wanted also to say that this poem that I think you wrote it yourself about the butterfly kisses, I would like someday, if you have time, to read it again, maybe once every 6 months, or I don't know. I think we would really benefit from listening to it again, because I don't remember hearing such a beautiful thing before in my life. And everybody is impressed by you, Anmarie, and I'm thinking that I'm speaking for everybody, and I don't think you really understand just how amazing you are, Anmarie. Hooray for you. Thank you. That's all from me from Sweden. Thank you.
Oh, Grace, you're so precious. Thank you so much, Grace. Hi, Rick, is there any way I would, yes, go ahead, please. Go ahead, dear.
Yeah, she was right. You had a very good presentation. I got to
Is it King of the Dots?
Well, you going to turn me in or something? I mean, what's going on?
My goofball brother, how are you?
I was going to say, I thought the podium was too high for you, and I was going
You
to
what? Rick said I was short.
going to give it the hell. But I can tell you're a pistol. So
That's why you and I get along.
Probably. And,
I wish I could have met you in person.
Well, we have rental property. We just had a roof put on one of the properties.
Uh-huh.
And I'll tell you what, I would suggest to anyone, get yourself a rental property because, rents have gone up. You get income. And all I can say is now with the new $6,000 per senior citizen deduction and the next taxes, if you have that income, you can qualify for that. So it's really, we'll probably get an extra $2,500 next year. Maybe I can use that to come to the next one. We'll see what happens.
Well, I hope so, my brother.
I just
Great.
All the presentations that I was able to see were very good, very enjoyable.
Oh, isn't it wonderful to be free and be with our real brothers and sisters and out of that cult?
I videotaped this today. My wife baptized my daughter, my stepdaughter, in front of 3,000 people at the Crossroads Church.
Oh my goodness!
I
Congratulations.
thought she was joking. I don't go there for services. I'll go there, get free coffee and stuff. I get free coffee. Anyway,
Oh,
but I thought she was joking when she said she was going to be baptizing my daughter. I thought it was a joke, but there she was. They allowed her to baptize my stepdaughter.
right.
Quite a moving organization. Talk about women speaking like you did, which you did a great job. They had a woman speaker on the mega screen, did a whole dissertation on the book of Jonah, and it was better than anything I'd ever heard in Watchtower as far as the book of Jonah.
Oh,
And
wow.
Couldn't be, because the whole thing about the book of Jonah is God will forgive whoever the hell he wants to forgive. And yet Watchtower can't say that because they don't believe that.
Yeah. You know what, my brother, King of the Dots, we're out of time, and I was really hoping I could read a couple things, but I need to ask. Don't be sorry. I'm happy you came on.
The back rooms of the new Auschwitz, and I'll stop it with that. Thank you.
Oh, King of the Dots, you're so awesome. Thank you so much for coming on. I'm waiting for your next poem. Rick, do I have time to read a few things?
Yeah, go ahead. It was good to hear from King of the Dots. Yes, it is. Go ahead, Anmarie. You get some time. Go ahead.
Rick, don't we have the most incredibly beautiful, wonderful Six Greens family? I love everybody. Thank you. I just wrote some things down. Life is too short to take too seriously sometimes. Just laugh at your problems when you can. When life hands you lemons, squeeze them into a margarita and keep on moving. Adulting is realizing that half of your problems could be solved by a nap. Pretend that you know what you're doing. The universe loves confidence. Not every screw up is a catastrophe. Some catastrophes are just character building moments. You don't need to have all the answers. You just need to act like you do. Keep on going and keep on smiling. Sometimes you just need to reset, to take a few deep breaths, center yourself, and smile. Finally, life throws its hardest battles at those destined to rise above them. You are not struggling because you are weak. You are fighting because you are strong enough to win. That's all I wanted to say. Thank you, my brother Rick.
Well,
thank
you, Anmarie. I appreciate you coming on. I know we've been tired out, but that's good. Thank you for coming on and being on the program today. And we'll see you in 2 weeks.
Okay, can I close the show?
Yeah, go ahead. Yep.
I hope you do a thumbnail that we talked about the convention. I want to thank everyone who came on today on Sharing Your Watchtower Story, where we talked about the beautiful convention that Rick and Susan had put on, still alive in 2025. Today is August 10th, 2025. I want to thank Rick and Susan and Nadine and Thomas and Dallas and Grace and our dear brother King of the Dots. Thank you all for coming on. See you in 2 weeks. Thank you, Rick.
Wow, very good, Anmarie. Well, I just want to say, too, that I appreciate Ken talking about the changing of the guard, the changing of the government here in America. And actually, Anmarie witnessed it up front and close, believe me, with the TSI and being interrogated like that. And even myself standing in line trying to find Anmarie, and the way that people were being treated, it really is unacceptable. It's unacceptable. This TSI, the government has got to really look into this. So many people are being interrogated. They're being intimidated. They're being put in a position of like a little kid. And it shouldn't be that. I would wish that President Trump could at least look into this TSI and the cancellations at airports, and even the person with the transportation head got to look into what's going on right now, because it's really a mess at the airports. Really, the government really is our servants. The government is working for us, and the government at this particular juncture is creating a lot of problems that are not necessary. So we're glad we got Anmarie here. And I hope that all those people that had canceled flights are doing fine and got home okay. Maybe there's still some people left at the airport. Who knows the way things are? Well, thank you for coming on. We appreciate it. Stay with us. We're going to end this program. We're going to go to JW World News Sunday edition coming up next, right here on the Six Screens Telenetwork.